All right, welcome again to another episode of the Metal Summit here live on the TMS Facebook page. It's halfway through the week. The first half of the week sucked. The second half of the week starts right now. As always, we're your island of misfit toys. We've got Jason, we've got Angel, Psycho Steve, we've got Bobby Dreyer, I'm Jay, and we are joined today by our special guest from New York, Rozzik. How are you, brother?
Chilling.
It's cold?
Oh, yeah, it's too cold. But I'm in one of them old school co-ops, so I got the window wide open with the heat blasting out of the radiator.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
right
man.
on.
So.
Well, first and foremost, man, we appreciate you taking some time out of the evening to get to rock with us a little bit and be a guest here on the show, man. And first and foremost, talk a little bit about what you are hoping and planning for 2021. So we're still dealing with a little bit of the bullshit and the lack of things to do because of what 2020 brought us. But talk a little bit about what you're working on right now and your current plans for this year.
Well, yeah, it was a total wash. I mean, I was really hopeful, and I was really trying to make a statement. I was like, no, fuck this. Like, Rozzik's going to go on tour. We're gonna go play some shows and stuff. And it just, one by one, for one reason or another, the shows all got canceled. But we did, luckily, due to the shutdown. If it wasn't for the shutdown, I don't even know if we would have gotten what's going to be the next record actually written, because we had always been so busy with our day jobs and the grind of going on and off with the touring. So in some ways, 2020 was a blessing in that self. So I'm happy to report I got 3 new songs that should be done. They should be officially mixed and mastered by the end of this month.
Nice.
And it's gonna be for the next record. But it's weird because like now it's all about the singles, you know. So I think this year we're just gonna put out a couple of singles independently, and then put it all together as a full length probably in 2022, which really shows you how thing was. First in 2018, I'm like, wow, it's taking me 4 years to come out with the second record, but 2020 was just such a wash. But yeah, we're gonna be putting out some new music, and I'm actually talking to a great guy named Tom Flynn, who's a very talented music video director. He did all the recent Lamb of God videos, so he's gonna be doing probably a couple of our videos this year. So some real serious quality content that's going to come out this year. So I'm really excited about it.
Oh, that's awesome, man, for sure. And right before the shutdown happened, you actually got done not that long before doing a really cool tour with Nita Strauss. So talk a little bit about what you got to do being on the road a bit with her.
Yeah, that was a big break for us. Luckily, Nita's management had caught wind of us, and she obviously saw the Alice Cooper influence and what I do. Some people have said jokingly that Rozzik's Alice Cooper on a budget. And we got to do direct support on her tour. It was a 2-month tour, went all across the country, and it was probably one of the best experiences I ever had on the road. Because a lot of times when you're dealing with bigger nationals and you're like the baby band, supporting, there's a lot of egos, a lot of politics. And it was really night and day from one of the last tours we had done. Nita's camp just kind of, they run a tight ship, and it's very much how the Alice Cooper camp does business. So, on days off, we were going to the movies together, going out to eat, throwing the football around. So it was very like humbling. I was like, these people actually like me, because I'm from like New York, so like I'm just used to everyone hating on me. So it was a really good experience. We gained a lot of fans, and I mean, I think my voice was better than ever. I think when you're on the road that long, either you blow your voice out or your voice just gets stronger. So on that tour, my voice got stronger, thank God. And when it was all over, she went right away back on the road with Alice. And when they played in Woodstock, she invited me over, and I got to meet Alice and talk to Alice about life for about 10 minutes, which was awesome. I really came out of the experience almost numb. You know, people are expecting me to come out like, all like, oh my God. I was just very calm and just like, all right, you know, because my dad was the one that got me into music, took me to a lot of Alice Cooper shows. So it was really great to kind of talk to Alice about my father, because when my father passed away, the last conversation we had before he passed was he had just gotten us Alice Cooper tickets for the fall for the
Wow.
Oh,
Dragontown tour. Yeah, and I always wanted to, you know, tell Alice that. And it was crazy because my father died on September 6th, 2002. And September 6th, I think it was 2018, Alice played with Nita at the Beacon Theater. And that was the same theater that I had those tickets that my father had told me about before he passed, only to then a year later be on tour with Nita. It was kind of this weird, like, full circle type of thing. It was, yeah, it was kind of healing. Yeah, it was interesting.
that's awesome, man, for sure. Well, let's go from New York to New York. Psycho Steve.
Wow. So Alice Cooper and tour. Now, when you did the tour with Nina, was it also with Angel Vivaldi?
So it was kind of interesting. No, Angel wasn't on that tour. He did show up to the New Jersey show, though.
Okay.
And but Mark Rizzo did a couple of the first dates of the tour. Mark Rizzo did some of the Northeast stuff, and when we did the Pittsburgh show, I actually jumped on stage and sang Roots with him, which was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that was cool. You know, Angel wasn't on that package, but he did show up, I think, to the New Jersey show.
Gotcha. So my question is, vocals. Was that your first instrument, or how did you become a vocalist?
Child abuse. No.
Nice.
Well, my parents were big on music, so there was always music in the house. And the first band I really got into was Queen when I was a kid, and I really wanted to be a drummer. You know, because I was really into Roger Taylor. I thought he looked good. You know, the whole drums, we will rock you. And my dad kind of hustled me. He was like, yeah, we'll get you a drum kit. But I think a drum kit on a third floor apartment in Queens is probably not a, you know, not a good move. So I got hustled, and then they just kind of threw a guitar at me. And then at that point, Nirvana was like the craze. So I was like, oh, I think I can do that. You know, so I just started kind of playing guitar, and I never was big on learning covers for some reason, and probably to a fault of my own. That's probably why I'm probably not as great of a guitar player as I could be, because I never bothered to learn other people's licks. But I instantly just started writing songs. I just got the basic chord book, and I just started. You know, first they were about like a dog or a cat or something stupid or whatever, but I was always about writing my own material. I don't think I really developed my voice until I got into my my young adult years, but yeah, I always at least tried to sing.
Awesome.
That's awesome, man, for sure. Hey, Cora, let me see if we can just get you to slide back just a touch there, brother. Boom. Bobby Dreyer.
All right, we're going to go a little danger right now. Danger. All right, so Cor, we talked a little bit before we went on air, and I asked you, Cor Rozzik, I kept going, can't be his real name. So, Polish, Russian, let's go for it.
Yeah, no, my real last name is Zadorozny, so it's technically Ukrainian, but I'm also Polish and Italian. So I'm a classic case of the melting pot of early 21st century New York, you know.
And let's elaborate on a little bit of your attire that you have, which I thought was very impressive that you just talked about. Your shirt you have on.
Yeah, no, it's got my real last name, Zadorozny, but this isn't like some hipster purchase. This is actually a real jacket from the Vietnam War, which was my father's. My dad was drafted in the war back in the day. Yeah, so support the troops, man. I'm all about that.
Look, I'm totally cool. So what made you change your name and go this route? Look, you know, I know a lot of people, you know, we just celebrated Bowie this week, who changed his name and everything else. And a lot of people do that But why the change?
That's a really good question, and it's funny. I don't think anyone's ever actually asked me that. So that's a great question. I truly think that I always had a love for Alice Cooper, and I was always a big fan of horror movies. I was always my roots was really music and wrestling. So
Match?
because if I wasn't going to be a musician, I probably was going to be a wrestler. And I've tried it a time or two, but some of my friends are in the business. But I was always and again, I'm breaking kayfabe now. We're talking about my real name and everything. But I was always really big on the psychology of when I go on stage, I want people to go, "Oh wow, it's that guy." It's not just another dude on stage, like, yeah, all right, well, here comes the next song. Like, no, I never wanted it. I always wanted to be larger than life. And I just felt, and it was kind of organic, actually. Well, what happened was in high school, one of my old friends, Matt, nicknamed me Hardcore. Because, I used to bang a lot of broads back in the day. No,
That sounds like so Dice Clay right there. Yeah, I used to bang this chick. Whoa.
Yeah, I used to, no, but actually, no, I was, I didn't get any chicks in high school. No, because we used to wrestle, we used to do the indie stuff and the backyard stuff with the chairs.
Wait a second. You and your friend used to wrestle?
Yeah, with clothes on.
Oh, this is so going airplane right now.
Bobby, drink some water.
Hydrate.
Oh,
So they called me Hardcore, and that kind of caught on. Everyone started calling me Hardcore. And then after a while, I was like, well, why don't I just call myself Core with a K? That's kind of different. And then I started going back to this, I want to do this like Alice Cooper character. And I'm like,
yeah.
What is Alice Cooper like? What would Core be like? Well, he's nuts. He's crazy. He's sick. So I took my name and I went Rozzik, and it just kind of stuck.
Very cool. Yeah, because I the makeup you do and everything is very early 70s Alice, which is, if anybody gets a chance, your video is amazing. I mean,
Yes.
Look, it's, and I got to thank Jay for really, look, I'm one of those guys, when new people come on, I'm like, okay. And I'm going, I love people who grasp the past.
Yeah.
And if anybody's an Alice early Kiss fan, who the hell was the guy who did the song Fire back in,
Oh, dude, that was Arthur Brown.
Yes, that dude. I hear a lot of fucking like Arthur Brown and shit in there, and I'm like going, give me that psychotic, goofy shit right there. That's just gonna make me go scare the shit out of me.
Well, that's what's really funny about it, because we our first video was Mistress, and that was a big movie fucking production, and really in that video, I'm really channeling, Michael Myers and Pinhead. I'm this possessed guy that's possessed by this alter dimension mistress, and I'm killing her clients, for some sort of, I guess, fame and fortune. I mean, that's the whole concept of the record Vengeance Overdrive, that Core is this, and it's a true story, actually, that I was this misunderstood guy from New York City. I was blacklisted. I was slandered. And even to this day, there was like this Rozzik folklore in like the New York City scene of a lot of very, very bad, incorrect stuff. And I kind of channeled that. So I made this whole concept of like, well, how's Core going to get famous? How is he going to like get back at the haters? Well, he'll do anything, right? Sign your soul to the devil. So I meet this alter dimension mistress, and she's like, well, if you do all this fucked up shit, I'll give you what you want.
Nice.
So we did that, but then on the flip side, I did this whole guerrilla DIY video, actually totally against the approval of my band, and I did a video called For Can't Stop, Won't Stop, and in that video, it literally cost $0, and it looks it, but in that one, I wanted it to be like a comedy, So I'm literally breaking out of the Creedmoor Psychiatric Center with all these other wacky guys, and I'm talking to a rubber chicken, and it's it's kind of wacky, but I did that on purpose just to show people that I could do different things. I didn't want to be pigeonholed to just one thing. And I think what's really cool about doing the persona, the character, the stage name, is that I feel like with Rozzik, I can kind of do anything, and it's okay. Whereas if you're Disturbed, you kind of have to just sound like Disturbed. When you look at Cooper, Bowie, Zombie, Manson, all these dudes that I love, they did different stuff throughout their career, and maybe I'm mixing up a little faster than they did, but that's kind of what I want to do. I love so many different styles and subgenres that I never wanted to be stuck to one specific style of rock.
That's great. We really appreciate it. Look, me, Jay, and we're big horror fans. We're big fans of early 70s theatric, big Kiss fans and everything. Yep. And Alice, look, keep doing what you're doing, because that's what keeps the past alive. So, dude, rock on.
Yeah, and I think with the new music that I'm doing for this next record, it's very exciting because I'm working on this happy medium with the new music. I don't want to say that I'm blatantly selling out or anything like that, but I think with the new music, I've kind of trimmed the fat. The songs are a little shorter, they're a little bit more straight ahead. But it's still got that old school feel with a little bit of the modern feel. And I think it's very cliche for a lot of artists to say, oh, well, yeah, I'm a mix, and I don't really think that's usually the case, but I do think with my music, it is genuinely a very fair mix of yesterday and today.
Very cool.
Nice, man. Right on. Boss man Jason, let's bring you in here, good sir.
So core, so hardcore. One thing that you mentioned before about just going back to your family history. Your family is from the Ukraine. It's a coincidence because mine is also.
Oh wow!
And from the Ukraine, and my great grandparents came over around the time of yours. It was a few years earlier, but that same period of time. I just figured I'd share that with you. When you were talking about that, I totally understood it, and that whole early 20th century New York.
All those families were very, very pro-American, very hard-working families. They didn't come here very much, and they carved out their legacies, and they really built up those communities in those early days. So I guess I come from that lineage of working hard.
Yeah. So it kind of segues into my first question, which is going into music as a career before you actually started to get some headway. Was your family backing you, and were they for it, or was it total you need to go to school and get a realistic job and have something to fall back on, or were they supportive?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, my father was also a musician, so he definitely was supportive. At an early age, my mom would scream at me and say, "Stop singing, you suck." And I probably did, but no, I think as the years went on, I mean, obviously, unfortunately, it's really sad. My father died literally the first week I entered college.
Wow.
And, I was set up to go to Queensborough Community College, and my major was music tech. And I remember vividly, like right before my dad passed, he's like, "Well, once you get into college, I'll teach you how to read music." And obviously that never happened. And I remember being really upset about that. And then shortly after my dad died, my mom decided she was going to move to Florida. So at 19, I was really on my own. I mean, my mom left. I dropped out of college, and I was working at a supermarket part-time, and I was working at Sam Ash Music part-time. And I really didn't know where the hell I was going to really go with my life. And actually, for about 5 years or so, I didn't really do music. I actually had a mental breakdown, and I really was just MIA. And it wasn't until I got out of that fog and pursued a different career that I kind of started getting into the Lower East Side scene. And at that point, the New York City scene was pretty magical. That's the best way I could describe it. It was very thriving. Bands were slowly starting to get into bigger venues. AC Slade was rebuilding his career, and he was there. And this is before he went on to do Joan Jett and everything else. And just a lot of trial and error. But eventually in 2016, I got the lineup that I still have today. And we finally started, getting out of New York. And I realized really very quickly on that if I was going to do anything, I was going to have to get out of this scene mentality, because it just seemed like all the it was kind of like high school all over again. I felt like I was always trying to overcompensate to get accepted by my peers. And it was funny because when I
locked up. Oh,
we lost him for a second. No worries. We'll get that all figured out. Hang tight with it. Oh, Core's back.
yeah.
so
Just everybody will just kind of make sure that everything's going really good and everything. So Jason, just go ahead and cue us when everything's cool. Can Core be heard?
Yeah, continue.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, guys. Someone tried calling me.
Oh, no worries, man. It's all good. But yeah, dude. So go ahead and continue when you were talking about, kind of getting out of the fog. And when you mentioned AC Slade, I know exactly what you mean by that, because that was when he was restarting with Trash Like Vision and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Go
ahead and pick it right up.
Yeah, no, that was. Don Hills was like the club I played every week. You know what I mean? Nicky Camp has been the owner of Don Hills and the recent owner of Blackthorn 51. He's really been instrumental in, I guess, keeping me relevant in the scene, I would say, because as much as I couldn't really get in with certain circles, he always would put me on and let me do my own productions. And then I started doing Core Fest, which kind of came out as a joke because I couldn't come up with a better name for it. But I started just booking myself as a headliner, booking bands I liked, and I just kind of started doing that in the scene. But when I first came in there was a lot of the glam scene was huge for a little while on the Lower East Side. So I was teasing my hair and I was wearing spandex, and I'm a big boy. I really shouldn't be wearing some of that shit. But but I tried to get in with that stuff, and it was funny because really there was just a lot of posers in the scene. I'm like, you guys just discovered Motley Crue yesterday. When I was in junior high, I had to decide between Lunch or a Dokken cassette. I'm more down than you guys, but. So it really was like high school, and a lot of bands just thought if they were big dogs in New York that they had made it. And I quickly found out that once I got out of New York, I realized people actually appreciated what I was doing. And that's really where the moniker of the bastard child in New York City really came from, because I really felt like an outcast in my own hometown. So the gimmick kind of came I'm proud to be from New York, but everyone in New York hates me. So I'm coming to Louisville tonight. You're just going to have to deal with me, and that was kind of like the shtick that I would do when I was on stage,
Right on. No, absolutely. Well, Angel, let's bring you in, brother. Let's hear from the Core Locos and from the Metal Summoners and yourself, brother.
Oh, yes. Just want to say hello again to Rick, who's watching for the first time. Definitely first time I see you on. Cammy Wolf, thank you for watching. Of course, Kim Sullivan, Star Peters, our good friend Lonnie Hammer, thank you for watching. Matt Porter, didn't forget about you, buddy. Definitely got a few great questions. First from Brian. Oh yeah, Brian, thank you for watching. This one's a tough question. Elvis or the Beatles?
Ooh.
I hate to be in your position to answer that question, but
Actually, that's an easy question for me, believe it or not.
before you answer that,
Surprisingly, I never really got into the Beatles. Yeah, I know. I know. Believe me, there's a lot of that older stuff that I just kind of skipped.
Sorry.
But I would probably go with Elvis just for the showmanship. You know,
Okay.
he was a front man, he was a showman. So, and I'm all about that. So I'd have to go with Elvis, even though I didn't write really much of his music. But I'll go with Elvis.
You didn't write any of it.
Yeah, probably right.
And staying with Brian's question, your favorite horror movie ever?
Ever?
Yep.
Oof.
If you had to pick, or you can name a few.
Well, probably. I mean, I would say to be generic but still sincere. Obviously, the Halloween franchise.
Yeah.
My guilty pleasure though is like Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. I know most people think that movie is terrible, but it should have been the best sequel because Daniel Farrens wrote an amazing script that really very strategically and intelligently kind of connected the whole series. But because of the terrible Weinsteins, their influence on the studio, the whole thing got chopped to shit. But it's a real 90s flick. It looks well. All the kids are wearing like flannel. You know, Brother Kane is like the soundtrack, and I love Brother Kane. So it has a place in my heart. I think another guilty pleasure is probably the Sleepaway Camp franchise. Those movies are a
Oh,
lot.
hell yeah.
Awesome.
Psycho Steve, don't be laughing at me.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Okay.
just saying my favorite horror movie. So good.
Okay. So I want to say hi to one of our new fans. Hi Lisa. Thank you for watching. She says, "Hey guys."
Lisa.
Okay, darn so. Okay. Kim Sullivan wants to know, how tall are you, and do you always wear some form of makeup when you perform?
Good question. Well, it's kind of funny because every now and again I do like to ask me a question on Instagram, and someone actually asked me this yesterday, so I responded jokingly. I'm 6'2". I'm 6'3" with boots and my hat, and I'm 6'6" when I'm standing next to my band members. My
That's a good answer.
for anyone that's never seen Rozzik, my band is all my band members are kind of on the shorter side. So when we're on stage, I just look that much more massive. It's worked out well.
Cool. Brian wants to know, how much Ukraine do you speak, and what's your favorite Ukrainian dish?
That's a good question. I actually speak no Ukrainian at all. Yavas Lublu is probably as far as it gets. And as far as favorite Ukrainian dish, again, very basic, but I like the pierogies, the pita hairs. That's probably Eastern European dish. And I was actually with my guitar player, Andre, who is from Belarus. He's like the real deal. He's from like Soviet Russia. We were actually at my house in the mountains the other day making pierogies and blasting Cannibal Corpse vinyl. So kind of rando, but yeah.
Cool. Now I'll go to my question, which kind of goes back to a topic you was talking about earlier. Your video for Mistress. How did you come up with the storyline for that video? And that video, you did an awesome job. And as somebody that's into mistresses, you make me feel happy not to meet a mistress like that yet. I'm terrified of that.
I really appreciate that, man. I'm glad that you and a lot of people enjoyed that video. And again, that video was very tame in many ways. There really wasn't. There was suggested violence. There was really no gore. And I kind of did that on purpose. I was kind of channeling the original Halloween, where it's very shadows and lighting and just suggestive. But the concept of that video was kind of an offshoot of just kind of what I thought in my head of what the song was about, as far as the storyline, as far as Cord being under this spell and the mistress, kind of luring in these clients for me to kill them, and that, I guess I had a girlfriend and she stumbled into the house, and as much as she's my girlfriend, I'm under the spell of the mistress, so she's got to go. And it's only until the end of the video that I kind of snap out of it and I killed the mistress. So it was mostly based off kind of the concept that the song already had. There wasn't too much adaptation going into the video shoot.
Man, like I say, awesome video, and like I said, somebody that is into mistresses. I'm glad I have not met a mistress like that.
Well, you're not going to want to. I might pop up out of nowhere with a lead pipe, so.
Oh, Jay, you got to let me know if there's any good mistresses down in Baltimore.
I will do that. I think I have a few in mind, brother.
We've done this for you, Angel. Don't worry about it.
So, Core, I want to kind of stay in that same type of realm that we were talking about a little bit with like horror and stuff like that, because the one thing I definitely wanted to talk to you about is Can't Stop, Won't Stop got featured on Verotica's soundtrack, which for anybody who's not familiar with Verotica was Glenn Danzig's directorial like debut movie type thing. So talk a little bit about that. Like, how did that offer like come to you? What did you think about it? And what was kind of your overall thoughts and feelings about having your music attached to somebody with the stature of Glenn?
Yeah, that was a really cool opportunity. I mean, it was kind of through the circle. So the first record, Vengeance Overdrive, came out on Cleopatra Records, which again, Cleopatra is, they're one of the long-standing independent labels out of California, and it's really funny, going back to my hardcore roots. But when I used to do the wrestling, my theme song at one point was "Push Push" by Cinderella, and it was Cinderella, but it was the live version from the '98 record Live at the Key Club, which had came out on Deadline, which was like the 80s subdivision of Cleopatra Records. And it's pretty crazy that years later, my first record came out on Deadline division of Cleopatra. So it's really like strange full circle thing. So Glenn had signed on with Cleopatra to do his Elvis record, and he signed on with Cleopatra Entertainment to do his movie. And apparently he's got some other movies coming out soon too. So for the most part, that soundtrack was mostly other Cleopatra Records artists. Yerke from 69 Eyes is on there. Violus, which is a newer band from LA, they're on there. So I guess Glenn was going through, the current Cleo catalog, and for whatever reason, he picked Can't Stop, Won't Stop. And it's kind of funny because I think Can't Stop, Won't Stop is probably the least dark theatrical song on the record. It's probably the most fun, upbeat song, but I believe it's got from what I understand, it's got a really good placement, I think, in like a strip club scene or something like that. So yeah, he saw something in it, and I really appreciate it. And again, we were talking about we were talking about before we started the show about how there's like this degrees of separation between yourself and the stars, and how, when you're a kid, you don't think it's even possible to even touch some of these people. And then later on in your life, you either get to work with them or there's some sort of an association. And it's really funny because Glenn hooked me up with that show. Hooked me up with the soundtrack. But what's so funny is we went in 2019 to play on Halloween night at the famous Whiskey A Go-Go, opening up for Lizzie Borden.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I tried not to overhype myself too much because, I'm jaded, so I some of my guys are really nervous about it. Like, to me, it was like, it's just another gig. We've never been to LA before. We don't know what to expect. But, we really wanted to make an impact. We really wanted people to see us. And, initially, Nita and some other people were supposed to come down. There was a lot of rumblings that certain industry people might come down to the show. So in a way, I was like, all right, this could really be something. And then at a drop of a hat, Brian Slagle from Metal Blade was supposed to be there. There was all these VIP, reserved seats. And then the show happened, and nobody showed up. Not nobody, but a lot of the VIP people, close friends, Nita included, didn't show up. And I was like, fuck, what the hell happened? And it turned out, I looked on social media, everybody, VIP, was not at the show because they were at Danzig's Halloween party.
Oh.
So, and as you know, the way LA works, especially on a holiday like that, there's no way to get to the other side of town.
No.
Fuck no. Take an hour.
So in one way, Glenn hooked me up on the soundtrack, but then because he had the Halloween party, a lot of other people didn't get to come see me play my first ever LA show.
Oh.
But you see what I'm talking about? That it's funny, like, you're almost there, man. You're almost there. But I have to say thank you to Glenn Danzig, because today I was able to go to Citibank and cash in a royalty check from Cleopatra Records, and I'm sure a portion of that money was probably from the sales of that soundtrack. So thank you, Glenn Danzig, nonetheless.
Oh, that's awesome, man. My pizza. I know, I love it. I think that's hilarious. It's like, I appreciate the opportunity and being affiliated with this. Like, Glenn, you rock, but on the other side, Glenn, you kind of fucked me there.
Yeah.
Psycho Steve, pick it up, buddy.
Should I kick Glenn's ass again? I'm kidding. All right. Question of the day: if you got a chance to play with any band, like besides the band that you have backing you now, make your own lineup, like from other bands, for guitar, bass, drums, even keyboard. Who would they be?
Oh, wow. Ooh. That is
I stumped them. Yeah.
Okay, I know this is going to sound very like cliche, but it probably would be Alice Cooper's band. Nita, Ryan Roxy, Chuck Garrick, maybe Nita's friend Kat on keyboards, who went on tour with her. She's a great keyboard player. I mean, those guys are all pros. I mean, that's just, if not, maybe the guys in Dope. Probably AC Slade on bass, Virus on guitar. Again, all guys that really influenced. I mean, Dope was my favorite band coming out of high school. I never knew that my first demos would be with Virus, and get into the scene. So, those are totally different bands, but yeah, probably something of those two bands would be pretty freaking cool.
Nice.
Wow. Andre's a good people.
And exactly, and that too, awesome people.
Absolutely.
Right on. I can hear the influences of both, where you're going with the Dope, and then you can see the Cooper influence. So, right on.
Yeah.
Much for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100% for sure. Bobby, you want to get dangerous again, brother, or should we be scared?
Another sip. Wait.
Oh, God damn it.
I'm
sorry, Jason.
It's Patron time. So, I got to say, look, I just had to go on and get one because my man, the fucking magical Tommy Lee, has one, and I can't let that bitch not have one that I don't. So your hat that Tommy is rocking. How'd you come up? Great logo. Love it. Explain it, which is so badass.
Which the logo or the core skull?
The core skull, the hat Tommy's wearing is your baseball hat.
Oh, you like the baseball hat? Yeah. That's a top seller, man. So I collaborated with Joey James, which is an amazing artist out of New York City. And I mean, Joey's done everybody. I mean, obviously his first claim to fame, I believe, was all the Typo Negative artwork. Yeah. But I mean, he works with my guys, Steel Panther. He works with Bad Wolves, Seven Dust, Death Angel. And I kind of wanted to just kind of bring all the ideas of what I do on stage into some sort of a mascot. And I got a song called Spellbound, which is currently the closer. It's a song about voodoo, and I'm kind of like the voodoo man, So I come out with the red jacket and the hat, and I got the voodoo doll, and I throw the water sprinkler on everybody. So it was really just kind of a culmination of everything that I do. And the Rozzik logo is kind of cool. It's got a little bit of a nod to the Megadeth Metallica logo. It's got the kind of slashes at the end.
That's what I love. I love the Devil Girl, the snapback hat. It's just such a badass look.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Well, see, what happened was during the shutdown, I'm like, well, what do people need during the shutdown? Well, they're going to the supermarket. They need to cover up. So wear a hat and a bandana. So we made bandanas and hats. My next venture, which unfortunately got a little bit delayed because of COVID, but sometime this year, I'm also going to be launching a soap line.
Nice.
What about a thong? I mean, that thing on a thong would be amazing. I know Angel would love it.
Yes, that's a good invention. I would definitely buy that for some of the mistresses.
I should just put my face in the crotch, like,
That would kill the mood.
There was a movie. Are you talking about urinal kicks?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, if you don't like the soap, you can just throw it in the urinal, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. No, but the hat is fat.
You just reminded me of a movie. There was a movie that came out a few years back, and the guy was like a realtor, and he had his face on urinal cakes.
Oh yeah, that was
Was that like a
called I Love You, Man?
video, or was that like a Vivid?
Was that I Love You, Man, or something like that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, since you have a so-called mistress, you could make paddles.
Yeah, I would go the whole. Nobody in metal has done like an S&M.
No.
What I'm like. Maybe Rob Halford might, but wait, we got to talk to James Durbin about that one. But
no, but this is good stuff, though.
A metal guy really needs to put out some S&M shit, and just,
yes,
yeah.
I'm into it. I'm the rock and roll freak. I see mistresses. I would buy them a paddle that you have. There you go.
Wait,
there it is.
That's it.
That's my penis.
The cordong.
Yeah, what on the last day of Nita Strauss, they punked me, and they literally just jumped on stage with a bunch of dicks and started like spraying like shaving cream on us, and they gave me this Rozzik dick, and so I keep it around just in case I'm tired or something.
I'm making Psycho Steve blush. I love that. I can tell when his head gets red.
Dude, that's wild, man, for sure. Hey, Jason, let's bring you in to simmer us down a little bit, brother.
So, getting back to the whole like horror film and stuff
Sorry,
like
Angel.
that. So, have you ever I know you have a love for horror, of course, and you like theatrics with your music videos. Have you ever thought of doing like films, like making film, like horror films, or being in any of them, like acting in any of them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. My backstage.com is not working out too well right now, but yeah, I really would like to do some acting at some point, and I actually have a lot of different like movie ideas, whether they be comedies or horror. Maybe at some point I will do something, I guess, when there's an investor. But yeah, I definitely have some cool ideas. Yeah, I would love to do some acting.
Do you have them?
I think I could definitely be, the creep in the alley or the dopey best friend, or I think I could do a couple of different characters. So yeah, I would love to do that at some point.
Do you have your ideas written down? That's the important part.
Not exactly, but if I had to, I could write them down right now. I actually have one main concept that could be done as a comedy and also done as a horror movie at the same time. I'm just afraid to do it because it might totally destroy a certain industry, and I'm a little hesitant to put that idea in people's heads because I don't want to ruin an industry.
Sounds like my bar mitzvah video, comedy and horror at the same time.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if you do a certain concept, would it make people nervous about trusting an industry or trusting a business? Like, oh shit, wait a minute, that could happen. Oh no, now it's a very sensitive topic, but I think it's a great concept. I don't want to disclose it right now, but I may do it at some point.
It's actually interesting because for over the last 10 or so years, maybe more, they've been making comedies that like halfway through switch over to like drama, but it's still
Right.
it's still funny, it's still a funny, it's like a dramedy or something. I don't know what you call it.
Well, it's kind of like with that movie, Funny People.
Yeah, exactly. That's
that movie
exactly
was
the
freaking
genre
like
I'm talking
2
about.
hours.
Yeah.
I mean, like comedies never were 2 hours. Just like horror movies, comedies were just get in, get out. They were like 88 minutes. And now you got these like 2 hour. But if you're gonna do 2 hours, with comedy, then you're gonna have to throw some substance in there. It can't just, be ha 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 the whole time.
Yeah, maybe.
For
Well,
sure,
should
definitely.
only last 15 minutes.
What's up?
I said porn should only last 15 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, dude, but you put Motorhead on at the beginning of a porn movie, and the movie will only last 2 minutes. So,
Let me kill hard on.
All right. Well, speaking of hard-ons, Angel, Mistress Seeker.
Wow, a lot of very fun comments from the fans. Again, we have a new fan. Ari was joining us from the middle of pharmacy tech class, so thank you for watching us.
Rebel.
Thank you.
Brian wants to know, what are your favorite glam rock metal bands?
Well, it's funny when you talk about like glam rock or even like the term hair metal, some people kind of would frown upon that terminology. But I would say my favorite hair metal bands or glam rock bands would be Dokken. Dokken's one of my favorite bands of all time, and Don has really been a very strong influence on my voice. At least when I get a little bit more operatic, I do a lot of that vibrato. Even though I have a lot of that raspiness and grit, I do a lot of vibrato, and a lot of singers nowadays don't do that. So Dokken, Cinderella, love Tom Kiefer, amazing songwriter.
Represent Philly.
Yep, that's right. And probably the third would be Warrant. I think Janie Lane was one of the best songwriters of that era. I think really, really underrated songwriter. Never got a chance to meet Janie, unfortunately, but I did get to see them a few times, before he left Warrant. And just great stuff. Yeah, that's probably my top three. It's usually cliche. People say, Motley Crue or something like that. But no, those three would be my top three.
Cool. Combi Wolf, this is a question that has to do with touring, and we know that it's pretty hard to predict. But she just wants to know, when can you get back to Baltimore? We need live metal.
Yeah, good question. I mean, it's funny because, no, it's not funny at all. It's just, right now it's weird because, being from New York, we're kind of like sheltered. We're a little bit like out of the loop. Like I feel like a lot of other markets are still trying their best to go on as business as usual. But when you live in New York, especially, us, we all have day jobs. Again, I'm self-employed, so I'm kind of the exception. I could really do anything right now, but a lot of my band members may have to follow certain quarantine rules, especially because of social media. You'd almost have to keep it a secret. If there's a quarantine rule in place, could someone get in trouble for leaving the state for a day to do a show and then come back and have to quarantine for 2 weeks? You know, you're going for broke. So that makes it tough. So, you know, I'm ready to do stuff now, but we're really trying to rebuild the brand now. We got a bunch of really great new music that's almost ready to go. We're going to do some music videos and kind of build. So I don't think we're going to realistically be back out there until, if it's possible, probably the summertime. There's definitely been some talks of us doing a small club tour in the fall. I'm still trying to keep in touch. You know, I'm still trying to keep in touch with some of the bigger bands that I know just to see what's going on. And, you know, fingers crossed if I can jump on something. I love doing one-offs. I'm ready to go. My band's a little bit more of a trickier situation, so probably not until the summertime, unfortunately. I'd love to do it now, but it's probably going to be a little while because we still need to get a bunch of stuff, you know, behind the scenes, you know, done and out before we. I think the content right now, unfortunately, is a little bit more important than the music, because I know my band is definitely kind of tired of playing the same stuff over and over again. We definitely want to come out there with a new show with new songs, and I think that will take some time to really perfect. So we don't want to just go out and play the same shit. We've been playing the same shit for like 3 years, so I think we want to come back stronger with a bigger show and really get people. I know everyone's hungry and they want to just see music now, and I'm totally with them on that. But I think my band wants to personally come back officially, like new show, new songs. So it probably won't be until the summertime, unless someone pays me a boatload of money, then that might, you know, change it. But probably the summertime.
Awesome. Brian wants to know favorite sports teams.
My favorite sports team of all time is the Houston Oilers.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, I know that was the hockey. Yeah, hockey team.
Yeah.
No, the football team.
Football.
Tennessee Titans now.
Oh,
Yeah, that don't count. No. You know what it is? Houston Oilers, Seattle Seahawks, and the Mets. That'd be like my three teams. Because you see what happens is when you're a kid, you're attracted to, you know, colors and patterns. And I don't know, to me, there was just something really cool about the Houston Oilers. And again, when I was a kid, you know, that was like, you know, Warren Moon, Haywood Jeffries, you know, it was that kind of era. I had the old school Seattle Seahawks starter jacket, you know, with the little pouch,
Yeah.
you know. And, you know, being a resident of Flushing, Queens, I'd be a poser if I wasn't a Mets fan. Citi Field is only 10 minutes from my house, so I have to be a Mets fan, you know.
cool. Great question come from Janice. She wants to know what's the best place for you to write? At home, on the road, under stress, or just chilling? Good question.
Very good question.
That is a good question. I mean, I haven't really done a lot of writing on the road, believe it or not. Usually with me, an idea just comes. It's usually some sort of a song title or a concept. And then usually it sits there for a really long time until somehow a riff comes out of nowhere and I kind of put it together. Most of my writing is at home. We don't do a lot of writing in the studio together. Usually I come up with ideas and then me and Andre will demo something. And then once it gets a little bit closer to being a baby, then it's worked out usually in the recording studio. And then the band kind of adds their bits. We're kind of a different type of a band. We usually the songs usually are created in the recording studio or in a demo form before it's actually brought to the band. It's a little backwards. I kind of wish we were more of an old school band that just like sat in the room every week. But nowadays with technology and different schedules and certainly with COVID now, I mean, we did one show in February in Maryland in 2020, right before it all shut down. And I think we did one rehearsal around the holidays just for fun, just to see each other and do it. But yeah, it's been tough. But usually I write stuff at home and then I just send the guys stuff. And usually they're like, nah, this sucks. And I'm like, well, I want to do it anyway. And then, you know.
Another awesome question. This one's coming from Star Peters, and these are awesome questions tonight. Wow. I cannot top any of them. Star Peters wants to know, with the visual aspect of your music, do you feel pressure to reinvent your persona tonight? Wow. I cannot top any of them.
What happened there?
That was weird.
Yeah.
What? That
All right,
was
try
weird.
that
Angel just wanted
Try
to
that
be heard
again.
twice, I guess.
No.
Yes, that's
That was Angel's mistress.
Probably one of them.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Oh, yeah, the question was, okay, good. Whatever the problem with that was. With the visual aspects of your music, do you feel pressure to reinvent your persona?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just did a photo shoot a week ago with my photographer Emmy. We did it in Pencil. Shut up out there, New York. Anyway, we did a photo shoot of me yep. We did a photo shoot of me literally in the snow, like in the mountains, and my hair is like straight, and I'm wearing like a blazer, and I got an acoustic guitar, and it wasn't necessarily to say, well, this is my look 100% moving forward, but it was definitely to show people that I can do different things. I think so, because I there's been a lot of discussion recently with the band about do we just keep adding on the makeup and adding on the theatrics, and to the point of does it get kind of hokey or cheesy? And there's been a lot of discussions of, should we just totally 86 the makeup and the theatrics? Should we cut our hair? I mean, I just recently cut my hair a little shorter. But yeah, the answer is yes. But I think with that being said, because I do have the storyline, Vengeance Overdrive was what it was, and the next record is going to be called The Dead Society. And even though it as a whole form may not exist until 2022, the whole concept of the Dead Society is kind of where we're at right now, in kind of an extra alternate universe of rock and roll has been banned, freedom of speech has been banned, there's curfews, there's quarantines, our god is the Bitcoin, and there's this rebel group, which is the Core Locos, which is part of the Dead Society, and basically Core wants to be this new / street leader / maybe politician that's going to try to represent the rebels and try to overthrow everything so we can get back rock and roll. So I've been playing around with, well, what's my look going to be for this next record? Maybe I am a little bit more clean cut. Maybe I have some sort of a suit, but I still got the runny, eyeliner, because I have to look a little professional, because I have to try to represent this group, this society. So I think my look may depict what the story is, but it might be stripped down, it might be more over the top, but it'll be relative to what I'm doing. So yeah, I definitely feel that pressure, because I definitely don't want it to be stale. But yeah, it'll be kind of based off of whatever the theme of the story is.
Well, I'll get to one more fan question, and then we get to the top of the hour, which we have to pay our respects to our sponsors. Christine wants to know, who's your favorite WWE star?
Of all time, or okay, so I'm kind of rando, because I'm a little biased, because I've met and I know certain people, but my favorite tag team of all time is Demolition. So there's that. Probably Chris Jericho is probably one of my favorite all-time wrestlers. I was a huge DX fan back in the day, so Triple H, and a shout out to one of my good friends, Ron Killings, R-Truth. I think he's totally real talent, very underrated in many ways.
The 24/7 champion.
That's right, 40 times now or something.
now you don't go back old school, look, our heritage, Ivan Putski, and
Yeah, sure. Well,
He's like 2 years old. Bobby, he wouldn't know Ivan Putski. Come on now.
I know who Ivan Putski is, and but I wasn't around for that. I'm like WrestleMania 6 on. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
No, look, yeah, I probably have underwear older than you, but
Sorry.
I remember seeing WrestleMania 3 live on pay-per-view at my neighbor's house.
That's awesome. Remember when you used to have to actually order them like on the TV?
Yeah, pay-per-view. That's what.
Or your friends had one of those like shady black boxes, and like every time you go to their house, you're like so afraid that like the TV was gonna blow up. It never did though.
There was always that threat: don't let a cop come in, or you're gonna do some time.
Yeah.
Like a cop's just gonna roll up into your house
because you got a box on your TV.
Right, and if it does, you better have some big fucking titties.
And a paddle.
Dude, Angel, you're just all of that's just your theme of the night tonight, Angel. Tits. Like,
the tits.
Well, let me take a quick second to jump in and always show some love to the endorsers of the show, the people that have jumped on with us early and want to build with us as we grow our show as well and grow our brand and all that. We always want to thank Bradley Entertainment, Brad, Angie, and Don for everything they do, for live music, for shows, and for helping us, do our thing as well. Levin Lewis, Levy Metal Enterprises, custom guitars, stage gear. He does work with Bisto Blanco and Chuck Garrick, who we mentioned earlier in the show. So we appreciate him being involved. We always want to thank Saren Cadaver from Twisted Vines Horror Decor out of Rhode Island. She does custom Ouija boards, custom caskets, all that kind of good stuff. Voodoo dolls, fun shit, props galore. She's super duper rad, and we appreciate her so much. And we also want to thank Mark Hall, Janet Romero for everything they do with Rock and Horror Apparel, with their clothing company and the movies and music that they put out. Clothing some of the members of the Metal Summit. So we really appreciate you guys being involved with us. Anybody who wants to be involved, don't be shy. Reach out to you. We'll talk what we need to talk about, but we want to work with you. We want to build you guys up as we grow as well. So we definitely appreciate that. Angel, let me kick it back to you right quick for your question if you have one.
Yeah, my question is, after a show is over, what's your favorite way to wind down after a show?
Well, all right. My favorite way to wind down is to get to my hotel, which is usually a choice hotel. It's usually probably either a Comfort Inn or a Quality Inn, and I like to have a nice cold bottle of Topo Chico, which is Mexican mineral water. Which even when I first saw it, I thought it was a joke, but no, it's like a legit product from Mexico that Coca-Cola distributes. Get the nice ice bucket. So I do a nice ice cold glass of Topo Chico and a handful of Cheez-Its. And usually that is, makes me feel very, very content. After a long night, because it's not just the show that we do. I very much work the merch booth after the show. I'm literally like the face at the desk, which I think helps sell the product a lot. So once I'm off stage, the show, the work's not done yet. You gotta shake hands, which I don't know if you're even allowed to do that anymore, but shake hands and kiss babies and stuff. So it's you have to unwind from that. So yeah, usually just hanging out in the hotel with a nice drink is kind of how I like to end the night. I know it's not. Oh, you got a lot of cocaine. No, mineral water and Cheez-Its. Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah.
Nice, man. Right on. So, Cora, one of the things that I thought is actually kind of important to ask you. So your first album came out back in 2018 with Vengeance Overdrive. So you would push that album for 2018, and then you were all over the place on 2019. We talked about you working with Lita Strauss. So you were So your band and yourself are definitely grinders. You're putting in the work, you're traveling around, you're getting your brand out there, and then COVID basically came in and stepped on everything. Talk a
Yeah.
little bit about like you guys, like a younger kind of grinding to a certain degree newer band, and what COVID caused. Because yeah, it's what we know what it did to the music industry, and we know the LA Gunses of the band of the world, the Motley Crues, the Kisses. We know of like some bands that struggled but are still okay. We know other people that definitely got hurt, and then we also know the bands that didn't even feel a bite. You know, we love Kiss, we love Metallica, we love Motley Crue, but we know that those guys COVID didn't even affect in any way. I think it's important to hear your side of it and what exactly COVID did to a band like you.
It's a great question. Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate, and I think about it all the time. I was like, there's a lot of bands like us that, honestly, COVID would have been a real good excuse just to tap out, and just say, well, that's that, like they're, and I think for a lot of people, 2020 was a good excuse to just not. I mean, it was a good excuse for me to like sometimes not eat right or not exercise or whatever. It was just kind of like all bets were off, and I think that's why now I'm kind of a little bit overwhelmed because I'm like, damn, like you got to keep pushing the brand, and I feel like we were always behind the eight ball, but now I feel like, wow, we're like really behind the eight ball. I'm like, we really should have put out music last year, and I think we probably could have. But between COVID and my studio and them trying to figure out how to make it all work, a lot of stuff got delayed, and I probably didn't try to deadline stuff because to me, a band like Rozzik, we're still in that funny level where like I feel like our value has really been this amazing opening act that could really impress you in person. I don't, we haven't quite been the band that gets like the million streams on Spotify and has the video that just organically goes viral. So to me, I was very hesitant, like, oh, I'm going to put out material, but then I can't tour on that material. So, how many people are actually going to see it online? And then,
Yeah.
So I've had a long year to realize my regrets of, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. I really know what we need to do now. It's just a matter of implementing it correctly, and getting along with that new digital formula of, you do a single, you do a video, you do your Facebook ads, you do your pre-promotion, and I know what I need to do. It's just getting it out there now. But yeah, I mean, I hate to sound cliche because I know I've been telling all these funny stories of like, oh, the Glenn Danzig thing and things like that. But I really felt we were probably, one to two more big tours or one more hit song away from really getting to that next level. And I think if the pandemic hadn't happened, maybe we would have put out something last year and we probably would have done at least one really big tour, and maybe it would have been that next level thing that would have gotten us, more fans and more accolades. So we did kind of lose a year, and it's true. I think a lot of bands got creative and a lot of bands said screw it, and they did live streams and they did put out music. But I think a lot of other bands might have been in a different position. If you're a Chevelle or like a Pearl Jam, you can put out a record during a pandemic and it'll still sell like 1 million units. You know what I mean? But a band like us, it's like we really, most of our sales were done because people either bought them at the shows or went on Amazon after the show and ordered it, So from this pandemic, I've learned that, well, maybe there's a different way that we just need to try and do. But because I'm very old school how I see things, and I know I have to adapt, which is why we're doing the singles now. But yeah, 2020 really was a real kick in the ass. I really think had we had just a couple of standard opportunities last year, we'd be in a better spot than we are now. And there was even times where I was just quarantined up in the woods, just thinking, well, maybe this band is not going to get back together, like maybe this is it, maybe my band members say, screw it, I don't want to do this anymore. the money thing, the time thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and I saw a lot of, indie bands, smaller local bands. I saw a lot of bands just call it a day. They just said, it's too much. I can't do it. But core Rozzik is me. This is what I do. So I'm itching to get back out there and play. I don't think, I guess I could pursue acting like we talked about or something like that. But I mean, this is me. I'm a bozo. Like, what else am I going to do? So, 2020 really screwed us, but it screwed a lot of people, and a lot of people definitely packed it in. So I don't know, maybe, I'm just hoping once we get back out there with stuff that once things open up, there'll be a spot for us. I think that's my biggest anxiety, is that all these tours that didn't happen in 2020 are going to get rescheduled in 21. So we weren't on any of those tours initially. So is there a spot for us? I don't know. Like, how does this work? So I'm just doing the best I can to keep in touch with the musicians I know in the industry and just come out with some really good stuff pretty soon. It's in the works. So hopefully by March, April, I'll have something out.
Awesome, man. Right on. That's super duper good to hear. Psycho Steve.
So I want to piggyback off of Angel's question when he asked, like, when you wind down. But what about your pre-show ritual? Do you have one? Like, do you pray? Do you warm up? Or what do you got?
When I'm on tour, I have a vocal coach named Kevin Richards. He's based out of New York. He works with Rod Stewart and a bunch of other people. And I just play his tape and I just do a bunch of warm-ups. Anywhere from 2 hours to an hour before the show. Sometimes if we have a long enough drive to the venue, my band hates it, but I'll start doing it while I'm in the car, driving to the venue. I try not to talk too much, and mostly water, maybe a shot of rye, but that's about it. I don't, do too much shit before. I try to lay low. I really don't like being seen before the show if I can help it. I kind of want to make that grand entrance, but when I'm being good, I'm doing my vocal warm-ups. Yeah.
Nice.
Right
on, man, for sure. Bobby Dreyer.
All right.
I saw that smile.
Yeah. So I'm going to go 2 avenues here. I'm going to go sensitive, and then I'm going to be like, what the fuck? So your choice. What do you want first?
What the fuck?
Okay. So you're home alone. Comedy, horror movie, or porn? What do you watch? You sure?
Well, I mean, not the whole time. I mean, I'd be hurting. Yeah. But yeah, sure. Who doesn't watch porn when they're alone? That's all.
That's 10 minutes and you're done. But
No. You can make a marathon out of it. I mean, if you really got some.
Now I'm going to really get you.
Yeah.
What kind?
Oh, what kind?
Of course, everybody has that creepy look. There's times where I go in and go, look, I'm the gay guy, and I gotta watch fat chick porn for some reason.
Yeah, I clicked on the wrong link yesterday, and it was just like this 800-pound chick, but like there was like no sex. She was just like stuck in like a medical bed or something, and I was like,
you just sit there and go, what the fuck? Look at that.
And it was good, because like it was really late at night, and
Angel just drank that whole damn bottle of JD over that question.
I just, because I have a bad habit of staying up later than I should, and I put that fucking video on, and I was like, all right, you know what, like, fucking, I'm going to bed now. So.
Oh my God, she's got a penis.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, that under all those like rolls, there was.
It's always one of them. But on the sensitive end, so you talked about everything with the band and this and that, and how can us as fans? Look, it's been crazy times, and we have a lot of bands out there, a lot of people we really love, and how do we support you? What is the thing that you go, hey, I really appreciate if you guys check this out, look at this, what is
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been great. I mean, there was one time during the shutdown, I was literally just talking about how I like Roy Rogers, and because there's not that many Roy Rogers anymore, but they built one in PA by my other spot, and someone just PayPal me like $50 so I could just like go get some Roy Rogers, So I really appreciated that, and obviously fans know that. We make money off of merch. So, when we launched the hats and the bandanas, a lot of people bought them up right away. Another way you can show your support.
But I'm gonna put it out. That hat is badass. As soon as I seen that picture with Tommy Lee wearing it, I'm like, fuck, I gotta get one of them. So if anybody wants a badass hat, look, that's the shit. Go to your site, look at the merch.
Yeah, we still got a lot of merch. There's I still got all these I got like 5 bins. This is like my back room, and it's just like full of like bins of stuff. And dicks. Oh
no, sorry.
A birthday gift for you, Bobby.
All right. Not that I'm
But yeah, no.
Valentine's Day next month.
Just buying merch, man. Go to Rozzik.com. We got hats, we got shirts, we got all that good stuff.
And Valentine's Day is next month, so
that's true.
Just an idea.
And we're also trying to get on this festival called Metal in the Mountains. So if you go to the Metal in the Mountains group, you can vote us in, so we can play it like.
Now, where's that going to be at?
That's going to be in West Virginia.
Very cool.
Pipestem, which sounds kind of perverted.
Send Jay the link and we'll put it up where it is.
Yes.
Because
It's actually already on the Metal Summit Facebook page. I posted it up there, I think yesterday or this morning. I think yesterday, saying, hey guys, vote our boy TMS alum Core Rozzik to play on this.
Yeah.
So Jason, Angel, Bobby, if you guys want, just go right to our TMS page. You'll see where I posted it and share it from there.
Yeah, I would
I'll
really
definitely do
Same
that.
for all you metal summoners. That would be awesome. Do that.
Look, dude, to show you all the love, I'll put it on Ballbuster Music as well, just to show you the love and try to get you on that
That
festival.
sounds painful, man. I appreciate it.
Because
So-
I want to go.
So I'm going to segue off this a little bit. You talked about Roy Rogers and you talked about PA. So where in PA did you go to get your Roy Rogers? Because I know they're very limited right now.
There's a Roy Rogers in Matamoros, which is right over the New York border. So like there's Port Jervis, and you go right over the border into Matamoros, and there's a Roy Rogers there.
Look, I'm addicted to Popeyes now, and Cracker Barrels are like my new favorite thing.
Nice.
We've spent a lot of time at Cracker Barrel, more than I'd like to admit.
Look, I had no problem. I just drove up from Florida, and it's not a bad thing. But look, whatever we can do to help, these are tough times. And, a lot of the fans don't have a lot of money and this and that. And, things are going out and, Live Nation fucked every one of us. Every one of us. I'm like, oh, my God. And without a kiss, too. But we need to support our bands. Big, small, whoever they are, local.
Yeah.
Whatever we can do,
Yeah, I mean, the best thing people can do is, go to Rozzik.com. We got a bunch of merch. Our CD and vinyl is on Amazon. We're on Spotify. Even if you spin the shit out of it on Spotify, eventually I'll see a check for $10, I guess, eventually. So, the best thing people could do, man, is really just turn other people on to what we're doing. I think I without, tooting my own horn, I do think we're kind of a hidden gem still at this point. I think there's still a lot of people that still don't really know about Core Rozzik, and that's why I was saying with 2020, man, even though this year, 2020, we were supposed to originally Dead Society, the record, I wanted actually to come out right as the election was going on, because it's not really a political record, but it's kind of social. It talks about, just how people are obsessed with politics and what they see on the TV, and there's a lot of this type of themes. I really think if 2020 wasn't what it was, we probably would have been one or two, songs or tours away from getting to that next level. That's kind of my feeling. But for whatever it's worth, Vengeance Overdrive, I think, is a solid record, and there's still a lot of people that haven't heard it yet. So you can check it out and share it with your friends, man. Get them ready for the new stuff.
Yeah, sharing is caring. So
Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, I'm going to throw this out real quick to you, Core. So I work with a community college here, and I work with a really great producer, and these guys know David Ivory. David's produced Hailstorm, The Roots, and everything.
Yep.
So I have a lot of students who are looking for people to work with. So if things are slowed down, I'd like you to reach out to me, and I got students that'll help you push some of your new shit, and we'll work on a couple things this spring.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too, man. Like, I'm down to collab with anybody. You know what I mean? If someone wants something to write a song,
this is shit for you. I have students that are working on internships that need to work with bands to get their stuff out, and I'd love to push students this way. Look, it's kind of a win-win.
Sure.
Cost you shit, and they get a credit for it.
Free stuff, player.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll touch base on all this, but
Sure.
Look, that's what we're here for. The Metal Summit. We'd like to be an avenue for bands coming in and really look. These are tough times, and it's kicking everybody's ass.
No, it really is. It's been tough on everybody, and the thing now too is all my band members, everybody lives like in different states, different boroughs. So because of the quarantine, it's made it harder for a lot of us to get together. Like I said, we've only really rehearsed once during all of this. But the guys are enthusiastic, and we're slowly kind of reconvening now, at least virtually, as far as discussing the plans, as far as getting these video concepts together and recording more stuff. So
well, you know what it is. Things are going to happen, and the things is, you just don't want everybody being lackadaisical.
Correct.
And everybody losing hope, because hope's coming. Look, you only have two choices: don't get the vaccine, or get it and get the fuck out. Get back out and play.
Exactly. And I think that's where we're at. I think everybody, and look, it was natural for a lot of people. It was natural for everybody just to kind of go into their own little world during all this. And just recently I started just getting real like hard ass, and everybody like, all right, enough's enough. Like, what are we doing? Let's figure this out. Let's do something already. I was like, it was a nice break in a weird way, because we really had grinded really hard for like 3 years, and just personal life stuff too gets to you, So in a weird way, like, it was kind of nice for a while, but then after a while I'm like, wait, like what are we doing? So I'm ready to get back to work now. So whatever it takes.
Cool.
Absolutely, for sure. Bobby, I mean, you're definitely right about Live Nation, dude. I mean, they fucked us and didn't even have the common decency to give us a reach around. Like, seriously, dude. So real quick, I wanna speak out to the Core Locos and the Metal Summoners, guys. It's last call for alcohol, guys. Hit your questions, your comments into the feed. So when we get to Angel, he can read them off to Core, so we can answer any other questions or comments that you guys want to put in. So hit the feed, guys. It's last call for alcohol. And Jason, let's kick it over to you, brother.
So, Core, if you had an opportunity to put together your dream band, who would you want on stage with you playing what?
All right. Well, that's kind of similar to what we asked before, but
maybe it was when I stepped away.
Oh, okay.
You might have Psycho asked him a similar lineup question.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I kept it kind of basic. I was like the current Alice Cooper band or the guys in Dope. I feel like would be like.
Yeah, but if you could put any individual member, just single individual. Everybody you said, fuck yeah, that dude on bass, this on drums, Keith Moon,
Oh my God, man, that's really put me on the spot. Well, I would definitely put either Chuck Garrick or AC Slade on bass.
Yeah.
I would put either Nita Strauss or George Lynch on guitar.
Nice.
Nice.
As far as a drummer,
Living
sound-
or dead?
yeah, right. This is gonna be a throwback, but Tim Miller from Overkill, at least the
Overkill.
'90s Overkill.
Yeah.
Such a tight snare hit that guy had. I would probably put Tim from. Well, he's not with the band anymore, but I loved the way he did stuff. As far as a keyboard player, probably that guy that OD'd that was in Grateful Dead.
Didn't they all?
Yeah, right. Yeah. The guy that sang Just a Little Light from the '87 record. That dude, whatever his name was.
How many originals are left? Only one, or I think there's only one original left, right?
I think just Bob Weir.
Yeah.
But if I couldn't get the guy who's dead, then I'd probably just get Richie Castellano, who's the newest.
That was Brett Midland, the keyboard player.
Yes. Yeah. But if I couldn't resurrect him, I would go with Richie Castellano because he's a phenomenal keyboard player, guitar player, lead singer, backup singer. Yeah, I love Blue Oyster Cult. I think that's become one of my favorite bands in the last 2 years. I was kind of late to the game with them, but they became like my favorite band.
Wait a minute.
That's awesome.
You mentioned
If I could
Blue
give
Oyster
you
Cult?
keyboard.
Yeah.
You mentioned
Halloween
Blue Oyster
movie.
Cult?
Yeah.
See, have you ever seen? I'm going back to movies, but have you ever? There's this movie. I don't even remember this. I think it's called The Stoned Age.
The Stoned Age. Yeah,
Have
they're
you ever
going
heard
to
of
like a BOC. Yeah, they're going to like a BOC show, and then like it's Buck and Eric like outside like trying to sell them like bootleg T-shirts.
Yeah, and and they keep on whenever they like drink like schnapps or something. They always see the eye. There's this eye, and it's always the Blue Oyster Cult song playing. Like it's all Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah. It's weird, man, because like when I was like younger and I would listen to BOC, I was like, what is this shit? This shit sucks. And then like we were like on a solo tour in like 2019 in March. And our thing is like whenever we're going through towns, like we'll go to like the mom and pop shops, just to like see if our records in there or just like buy like stuff. And I think my one hobby during the pandemic is I just started buying vinyl. And we went into the store and they had the Cultosaurus Erectus record on CD. And I was like, what the hell? Let me just give it another shot. And I just fell in love with that record. And then just like one by one, just started getting all their records. And it's been pretty cool. I've gotten to speak to Richie Castellano on occasion. And I have almost all the records on vinyl now. And
Nice.
they're actually one of the few bands that I've gotten to see twice during this whole pandemic.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I saw them in Tarrytown in February, right before it hit. And then in October, when things got a little better, I drove to Pittsburgh and I saw them at a winery, like outdoors.
Oh, I heard about that show.
It was great. It was such a good show. It was cold as hell, but I was just happy to like go to it. Like, it's like two of my favorite bands, BOC and Steel Panther, were like the two bands I got to see during the quarantine. So like, I guess it wasn't too bad for me, but.
Yeah, when you were growing up, Core, the only reason you weren't into BOC is you hadn't learned yet that the only way to cure a fever is more cowbell.
That's right. That's
Awesome,
right.
dude. Awesome.
Hell yeah, dude. But I will tell you though, Core, if there was a keyboardist that I could stick on you, that I would really love to do if I could pry him away from his EMT duties, would be Josh Silver from from Typo.
Yeah, dude.
That dude's playing, and especially just like that style of playing is so unique. Like, even if we hadn't lost Peter and they were trying to do stuff, like only Josh can play the keyboards in Typo that way.
That's true. Yeah, I was a little later in the game than that, but I still was somewhat connected to that Brooklyn scene because I had done some early tracks in my career with Paul Bento, who was he was a sitar guy for all the Typo stuff, and he played in Carnivore when they did their last version. So Paul used to tell me a lot of fun stories about Pete. And then when I got a little older, I kept having short-term relationships with chicks who all claimed to have slept with Pete. So,
With Peter?
yeah. I guess they like tall guys. I don't know. So
They liked playmates, I guess.
yeah,
Dude, that's wild, man, for sure.
yeah, man.
Angel, let's kick it down to you, buddy, and let's hear from the Locos and the Summoners one more time.
Well, the summary from the fans is don't cut your hair, please. A lot of them making that comment. For some weird reason, just fans from Baltimore, they seem to be craving for you to come to Baltimore. Not sure if Jay had something to do with that, but
Well, that was the show that he played right before quarantine at Fishhead Cantina.
yeah, it's like a lot of those fans just want you to come back to Baltimore, and
That
I do
was-
as well, so I can go
that
hang out
was-
with Jay.
I mean, honestly, the energy at that show was phenomenal. I love fish heads. That's definitely a room that I can do my show no problem. And I got there on a half a tank of gas. I don't know how the hell that happened, but I got lucky, I guess. No, we would love to do it, man. I really, and again, it's just a matter of the quarantine conditions and just putting together a good show. But I think Maryland is definitely something we could do sooner than later. I would love to go back to Fishhead. That was a great show, and it was funny because we did the show, and I'm like, man, 2020 is gonna be really good,
Well, we know Jay would be there because he's from Baltimore, and
Yep.
I would come down there as well. So
Yeah, man, we'll make it happen soon enough.
Yeah, definitely. No, I knew all about that show. I just really wasn't fit that night. So,
Star Peters, you get the last fan question of the night. Star Peter wants to know, if you were the headliner, what bands would you want opening for you?
Oh shit.
Or what
That's-
bands would you tour with?
That's a tricky question, because, I mean, I can't. Yeah. AC/DC is going to open up for chorus. You know what I mean? I guess I'd have to go kind of, a little different. There's a great band out in New York City called Wild Street. I would love to have maybe Wild Street do some stuff with us. Kickin'
Love that.
Valentine would be great.
Great band.
Yeah, awesome guys. Yeah, bands like that I think would be reasonable, doable. But it's kind of hard to just be like, oh yeah, you guys open up for us. You know what I mean? It's like, but yeah, bands like that I think would be pretty cool.
well, you could always keep something like that in mind a little bit with that, with that kind of core fest thing that you were talking about, even without it necessarily being a core fest, but just kind of one of those things like, let's have the goodie bands that New York loves open up for the band that everyone in New York hates.
There you go.
You could do like a Star Wars, like, the Force versus like the fucking Empire.
Exactly. Yeah.
Angel, keep rolling with it, buddy.
And my question is, what is the most unglamorous thing about being on the road?
I think the most unglamorous thing about being on the road is probably when you like really have to go to the bathroom and like you don't know where you're gonna go. I think if you're doing one of those like not necessarily Live Nation per se, but one of those just like real anal venues where they try to come like see you after the show and hit you up for money. They want like a cut of your merch. and you gotta play the whole like, oh, we didn't really sell anything like game, you know. And there was like this one venue that one time like kept me like an hour like after the whole show already packed up, and they were like trying to get it was a little degrading, honestly. Yeah, probably those two things. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy, man. Like, it's crazy with like a lot of that kind of stuff. Have you ever like, when it comes to those venues, just because I thought it was kind of funny with something that you said, have you ever like been stuck in a situation where you're driving to a venue and you have to piss, but you're behind schedule?
No, you know, my drummer Louie is a truck driver. So we've always been pretty good with scheduling. I remember one time we played San Antonio, Texas on a Thursday, and we played and we went to the hotel, and then we got up really early Friday morning, and we played Saturday at 9 p.m. in Rochester, New York.
Ooh.
And we literally like showed up like just in time to like set up and play. So I mean,
Damn.
so no, not really, but you know, with my nerves, I suffer from anxiety. Sometimes, you know, I got to go. So, you know, it's like where's the next exit, you know? But that's why I love those truck stops, man. At least, you know, if you see like a Pilot or a Sheetz, you know there's gonna be a couple bathrooms in there. So
Absolutely, for sure. Well, Core, man, we really had a good time with you tonight, man, and I hope you had a great time with us as well, man. We really appreciate you doing the show, man. You know, I got my Core hoodie. I love that thing, dude.
yeah, bro, you look better in it than me, man.
And I'll be getting my hat soon. I'll be rocking that puppy.
Yeah, man, we got plenty of merch, so you guys can hit us up. We got some great deals, and this has been great, guys. I really appreciate it, man. I really put some wind in my sails. I'm ready to get this new music out this year, and honestly, you guys are great, man. This is like one of the better things I've done. You know,
Awesome.
Usually people ask some pretty boring questions. You just want to like go to sleep already.
That's why we like tequila. No.
Right.
Right.
No, sure. But we definitely, that's the one thing about us, you know, there may be five of us, but the likelihood is because there's five of us, you're really not going to get anything weird or boring, because I mean, you're not going to get anything like just boring or like not weird, because like we're going to hit you from a lot of different angles and stuff like that. But real quick, Cora, tell everybody one more time where they can find you and what you are doing right this second, if anything.
Yeah, you can find me on the web. Just look up Core Rozzik. That's Core with a K, KoreRozzik. Instagram at Core Rozzik, Twitter at Core Rozzik, Facebook Core Rozzik NYC, and there's CoreRozzik.com, which there's a link there. It just says merch, and that'll take you right over to our all our good stuff that we got for sale. We even have our electronic press kit on there. If you're an agent, a label, whatever the case, you want to work with us, just hit us up. I'm not hard to find. And again, I appreciate all the love from the fans. We've all been there for each other during this whole thing. I've been there for them. They've been there for me. Yeah. And still working on how we're going to distribute. Everything's kind of up in the air, but there will be new Core Rozzik singles and videos shortly.
Awesome, man. For sure. Well, also, Core, on our end, don't be shy, man. Reach out to me, to the guys at any point if you need anything, bro. We got you, man.
Yeah, man. Just add me on Facebook, man. I'm always down to chat.
Real quick. So where are you located in New York?
Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you guys. Yeah, I'm located in Queens, New York.
Right.
And just to give people like a little bit of a geography, fun factoid, I literally live 4 blocks away from where Paul Stanley grew up.
Very cool.
And this is also the same neighborhood as Simon and Garfunkel. It's the same neighborhood as Fran Drescher. And I'm about 10 minutes from where the Ramones grew up. So a lot of history.
Very cool.
But it's messed up, though, because I went on Wikipedia and I tried adding notable residents Core Rozzik, and they wouldn't let me do it. So I don't know. Maybe someone else has got to put that in there. I don't know.
Damn.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I'm only about an hour away from you, so I'm right down in off of 95, 78. So we'll talk.
Sounds good, man.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, Core. We really appreciate it, man, for sure. And we definitely want to thank the Core Locos that watched tonight. We want to thank the Metal Summoners that watched tonight. We love you guys. Great questions as always. Great job being involved. We really appreciate you guys. For everybody also that's watching, that's unfamiliar or watching us for the first time, hit us all up on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram. Definitely hit up the YouTube page and like and subscribe on that YouTube page so we can get our feed out to more people as well. But everything is the Metal Summit. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Hit us up on all of that stuff. Again, for Core Rozzik, we really appreciate you being with us again tonight, man. And thank you so much.
It's been a blast.
And for the Metal Summit, Jason, Angel, Bobby, Psycho Steve, I'm Jay. Thank you guys as well again. Guest announcement coming up on Friday for next week's show. Take care. We love you. As always, guys, you've been watching the Metal Summit.
Yeah.